Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about all of the books that I read in 2023. We're just gonna go right into it because there's 19 books to be talked about. So first, in January I read Ugly Love, which I read on my Kindle. At the time, I had rated it 4 stars, but I feel like my taste has changed a lot, so I would say it's like a 2-star now. Spice level 1. The book is spicy, so just go into it knowing that. A Good Love is basically about this girl named Tate and, brother's best friend. And that's where it got me. That's where the obsession started. So I'm not gonna say that I don't stand Colleen Hoover because she got me started on my brother's best friend liking era. So yeah. But basically she falls in love, or she starts this friends with benefits thing with her brother's best friend. And it just kind of goes from there. Thinking back on it, he was kind of really crappy to her, but at the time I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I did cry just because his trauma was sad, but it's just like not my thing anymore, like now. So yeah, February I didn't read a book. So then we'd go right into March, and I read A Good Girl Scared to Murder. That was a 2-star. I just went into it in the other video that I just did, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But it's about this girl named Pip, and she has to do her capstone project. And she decides to do it on a murder that happened in her town. And she's like, I'm gonna solve it because y'all got the wrong guy. Really cool concept. Just not executed for me being a 21-year-old girl. And then for my birthday, I read the fine print because we went to Disney. And I was like, I've heard this is like Disney. Yes, it hit every mark for me. I rated it 5 stars. That book is also spicy, so just in case you go into it. But yeah, I read The Fine Print by Miss Lauren Asher, and that's where my Lauren Asher journey began, and I'm still obsessed. It's about this girl named Zara and this guy named Rowan, and it's a workplace romance. It's like frenemies to lovers. They are absolutely adorable. I also talked about it a little bit in the last video, so I'm not going to talk much about it. And then I read It Starts With Us in May. First physical book, haha. Well, I read A Girl Scared to Murder physically, but then I gave it to my middle school sister, so if that puts anything in perspective for you. Anyway, I rated this 1 star. It's the second book, which I don't know why I fell for this. I don't even know if you should call this a series, but the first book is It Ends With Us. Which is a beautiful book. I probably wouldn't like it as much reading it now, but I don't know. I would have to reread it. But this is like Lily and Atlas's redemption story, I guess you could say. Like, they go back to each other to see if they would have anything second chance romance. It was just really just not it for me. Like I said in that other video that I talked about it, I fell for the cash grab. nobody else except me. So then in June, I started my Twisted era, and I read Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is Brother's Best Friend. I think I talked about it a little in the video, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. But it's Brother's Best Friend. She's like innocent. He's not so innocent. He's like, I don't know if you want to call it the mafia, but he's definitely a man in power. He's got money, and she's just like here for the ride. Crazy book, so good. I rated it a 4 stars. This book is spicy if you want to go into it, just for a warning. Yeah, I'm gonna say check the trigger warnings. Only for like a couple things in this book, but yeah, I absolutely love this book. I ate it up. I annotated it, which is the first one that I ever annotated. That quote was not the one to show. Ready? And it has this. This is Alex talking, the boy. Tell me who or what I need to kill. When he will kill for you. Love that. Okay. Then, in July, I read Twisted Games. I literally love this book. I've had to talk about it so much recently, and I just like, I keep bringing it up with Ethan because I think about this book every day, and I'm ready to reread it. I'm ready. I need Reese Larson back in my life. I love this book. 5 stars. It is spicy, so be careful when you go into it. It's Bodyguard, it's forbidden romance, it's everything. It's just read it. Just trust me and just read it. Like, just do yourself a favor and just read this and let Reese Larson show you what a man looks like on paper. And then in August, I read Terms and Conditions, which is on my Kindle. I have no more physical books, so be aggressive with. But in Terms and Conditions Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. Rated a 2 star. That book is also spicy if you go into it. But I just didn't like Declan at all. Like I said in the other video. I loved Iris. I did want to say that. Iris, I loved her as a character. I just didn't like Declan, and I feel like he just kind of loved her for convenience. I know it's a marriage of convenience trope, but literally I just think he loved her just for the funsies he's like pretended to, and like I didn't feel their chemistry at all. But it's about Declan. It's the brother to Rowan in the fine print, and he has to get married, and so he marries his assistant because she has basically been in love with him for like ever, and it's like he has no other option but to marry her, and their love story just kind of goes from there. Then in September, I was hanging on to a summer read, so I read The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. I rated it a 2 stars. It's just kind of here. I I just didn't like her writing style. I didn't like the boy. I didn't like the girl. She was like super pick me. She's not like other girls. She has like the worst luck. She's this, she's that. It was just meh. But it's about Ethan and Olive. They are in-laws. Their Olive's sister and Ethan's brother just got married, but they got food poisoning, so they're like, we need our twins to go on our honeymoon for us because we paid all this money. So they go together even though they hate each other, and like, you know, it's a romance, so they get together, and like, and it didn't even give me summer vibes, so that didn't help. Then in October, I read Tis It Hate by Anna Huang. I rated it a 4-star. This book is also spicy. But this is best friend's brother romance / like enemies to lovers, dislike to lovers. So good. It's about Jules, who is Ava from Twisted Love, her best friend, and Josh, which is Ava's brother, them starting up this, like, it's not friends with benefits because they don't like each other. It's like hate with benefits. They're like, I hate you so much that this is how I have to get my anger out of you, sort of. But yeah, and then it just kind of evolves from there. Check the trigger warnings, please. With this one, like, literally check the trigger warnings before you go into this book. I had to read, it's not detailed, but I had to read about things that I was not expecting, and it, like, yeah. But, yeah. Anyway, and then also in October, I read Never Lie by Freida McFadden. I rated this one a 3-star. It was just a thriller book. It was just fun for Halloween, spooky season, if you will. Yeah, it was just an okay thriller. I didn't guess the plot twist, so that's always a good thing. I had a good time. Once it picked up, I loved it. It was great, but it didn't pick up till, like, let me see, till like this much was left, and I read that much, like 200 pages in. It just, so that's why it was only a 3-star for me. But it's about this newlywed couple that's looking for their future home, and they come across this psychologist's house. Their this dead psychologist's house, and, you know, whatever. That's as much as I'm gonna say, because I don't want to say too much. Thrillers, it's too easy to say too much. I feel like we have fantasy too. And then November, which these are all books that I talked about. These are all books that I talked about in my November reading wrap up. So I'm not gonna go crazy into detail because I feel like I've also talked about these books a million bajillion times. In November, I read. Are you ready? You know, Akatar. I'm literally crying because I'm reading Aquarius and Fury right now. Oh my gosh. 4.5 stars. I love this book. It's a fantasy. It just gives. I love it. And I love it. I love it. That's all I'm gonna say because I've talked about this book stop since I read it. And then I have to move around my stack here. I'm starting to not be able to reach. And then after A Court of Thorns and Roses, I read Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I rated this a 3 stars. It's about Evangeline. She makes a deal with Jax, this fake guy, and because her boyfriend's gonna marry somebody else. And that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. I'm still gonna continue this series though, guys, like officially, like I'm gonna continue. And then I read By a Thread. This was a 5-star book for me. It is spicy. It's a workplace romance. It's a grumpy sunshine. I said 5 stars. It was a 4.5, not a 5-star. I was getting a little excited there. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what was happening. By a Thread, grumpy sunshine, 4.5 stars. Workplace romance. Well, yeah, workplace romance. I loved everything except the very, very beginning, because he was a little too grumpy for me in the beginning. I was like, whoa, a-hole status. And then the 3rd act breakup was really, really poopy for me. And then, getting to December. We're gonna kind of speed round a little bit. Christmas books. They don't need, they don't need a lot to talk about. I read Meet Me on Christmas Eve, which I rated a 3 stars. Cute little tiny book, super cute. Then I read The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. It was a 2-star. Didn't give me any Christmas vibes. And then I read The Polite Before Christmas, which I actually rated a 4-star, which is crazy. It gave me the Christmas vibes. It was a cute romance. Turns into brother's best friend and it's a second chance. I actually love that book, and I want to read more things by Kate Stewart. Then I read 1,000 Boy Kisses, which I rated a 5-star. I still haven't stopped thinking about that book. I want the physical copy. I want to reread it. I want to annotate it. Such a beautiful and heartbreaking story. Very heartbreaking. Check the trigger warnings, because literally, what, anyway. And then I finally get to talk about something, because I didn't do a video on this, because I was doing something else. Anyway. Then I read Scarred by Emily McIntyre, which is actually on my TBR. I know. It's a dark romance, which I didn't know going into it until I open it. And I'm like, oh, la, 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 la. Go through playlist. That's so nice. I love the dedication. And then it says author's note. Right? And it says, Scarred is a dark, loyal romance. Reader discretion is advised. What? I rated it a 3.5 star. It was fun. I liked it. The ending was just very rushed for me. We were like waiting. I was waiting for what happened in the end to happen, like the whole time, and then it happened, and it was just kind of like, okay, that happened, yeah. So that was kind of really crappy. That would have bumped it up to a 4-star if it would have just been expanded about more. But it is a dark romance. Check the trigger warnings, please. But the dark romance and no the trigger warnings. I said I was so excited to talk about Scarred, but honestly, I thought about talking about it. I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about this on the internet. Anyway, then I read Of Mice and Men, 5-star book, beautiful. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I literally have one whole reading vlog dedicated to this cutesy little 100-page book. So, read Of Mice and Men, 5 stars. And then to end off this year, I have read 50% of Artemis and Fury. I know. I thought I was going to finish it for you guys too. But honestly, no. That today's Christmas Eve, tomorrow's Christmas, and then we're going to be traveling, tomorrow and for the next week. I know that will be my last read of the year. That's why I'm making my December, if I even finish it this year. So that's why I'm making my yearly wrap up now. I read 19 books, and when I finish this, that'll be 20 books for 2023. And honestly, that's crazy. The most books that I read was in December. To talk about Artemis and Fury, I can't say anything about it, but right now it's feeling like a 5-star. I don't know what could happen to bump this down, but it's feeling very much so like a 5-star. I'm annotating, I'm highlighting, I'm underlining, I'm swooning over Reese right now. I literally love him. The Reeses are gonna do it for me every time. Anyway, those are all the books that I read this year. There's a lot of 4. There's a lot of 3.5. There's a lot of 4, and there's a lot of 5 stars on this list. So you know what? I'm not gonna complain. It was a good reading year. And I'm so excited to see what next year holds because I opened up so many different authors in different genres and different goals for next year. So I'm so super excited to see what I read next year. And I don't think this is the last. This is not the last of me for the year, so don't fret. But that is the end of today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your favorite read from the year was. Please. But I hope that you have a great day or night, wherever you are, whatever you're watching. Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you guys very soon. This is the end of Bookmas, so I will see you guys on a regular basis, not every other day. But I will see you guys so soon. Bye, besties.